Hi there, this is Jim the Keys bartender. We're here coming from Key Largo, mid-Key Largo. I'm here with Tyler, mid-Key Largo. Central Key Largo. Downtown Key Largo. Here with Tyler, Jenna, and Andy.
Downtown.
And he's fascinating at the end. We had of the previous show, we were talking...
we were talking about Married at First Sight.
Married at First Sight.
That was it.
And the afterlife. And the afterlife.
Well, before we get on to that,
You ever hear that song, The Afterlife, by Squirrel Nut Zipper?
Squirrel Nuts Zipper?
No.
Yeah, it was like one of those weird...
psychedelic.
Trendy. No, it was a big band. It's pretty freaky.
I remember the name.
Squirrel Nut Zipper. Yeah.
I probably.
Dun,
heard
dun, and it almost sounded like a beginning of a Ricky Martin song. And so like, in the afterlife.
Yeah, did they have like
carry
8
a
band
stripe?
members or something?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Big Bang. That was, you know what? That time
That was 90s.
the 90s, that time worked great for me because I had a couple suits and I'd take girls to nice restaurants. And in Philadelphia, you had a couple of those big band places with the big, you go in there and they got a big band, they got the seats with the booths with the table facing the band, and you take someone out there. I wasn't a big dancer. I wasn't a swing dancer or anything like that. But you go out and you have a couple drinks and shit like that. That was great. Girls like that. It was kind of kitschy. You say, hey, you want to go out? You want to check this out? And you take them someplace they've never been before. And you go out with them for like 2 weeks. And then it gets tired and you go, move on. That was it. But I think that probably was like a couple years before, what was that name of the show?
Married
at First Sight.
I thought that was like
You know, that's not
2000.
That's not that unusual because there was whole cultures. Every culture actually had that early on.
Well, yeah.
Where you married people off. In India, they still do that, right?
Yeah, they do.
In certain places, and
there's movies about.
I'm sure there's communities in the United States that do it. The Amish and probably the Hasidim do it. Some of them's radical Mormon. You know, you got a couple extra daughters. You go, you're up with Miles Johnson. You're bride number 3. You know, and you show up there and just like that Russian bride you were talking about, just showing up. Jenna, Tyler. Yeah,
your Russian bride.
Yeah, on the ID channel.
Yeah, wonder why the guys can't meet any women over here. You get the
He
bride.
was a psycho stalker, almost killed her, and
the new boyfriend slash
husband. Even though she had already actually been remarried, had a new hubby, and the guy almost killed her, and she caught him breaking into her car. And when she reported it, the police showed up and they shot him dead. But they had suspected that he had broken into her car just to put a bomb in it to kill her.
He opened fire on her. Oh, no, they cut the brakes.
Cops.
She cut the brakes.
The cops opened fire on him and killed him.
No, but he pulled a gun on them and started shooting too.
Yeah.
But yeah, the dude showed up to their new house and cut the brake lines when they were getting ready to go out of town, and he was getting ready to move the car into the garage and was backing out of the driveway, and he couldn't stop.
Yeah. Something.
Yeah.
That's
a
hard.
That's a really hard.
Angels.
That was like death by or suicide by
back in the
cops.
70s. You cut the brake
Right.
line.
That's
Suicide by
a resentment.
cops.
That's a hard-held resentment.
Heart to Heart had many of them.
Yeah,
you know?
he was mad. He was mad about the fact that he went all the way to Siberia, bought his wife, and came home. And after he beat her, she didn't tolerate it. Poor guy.
No, there's some people that
You sounded like Jeff Dunham there.
the people that hold a grudge and they come in and they just it's over.
Yeah.
How many? If you had an ex-girlfriend or I have an ex-wife, I called her maybe once or twice. Never, just because we had business dealings. And ex-girlfriends, I think I did the drunken dial a couple times years ago. But there's been I told you about the counting before. There was about, the first time before I was married, there were probably 87 ex-girlfriends I had.
In 87, you had 87 ex-girlfriends?
No, I had 87 total ex-girlfriends before I got married. Girls they dated more than 2 weeks.
I can't even remember.
Yeah.
How many fingers and toes do we have?
Yeah.
How many times?
No, the reason the way I remember is how many girls you slept with. You remember that.
Well, I lost count.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Probably count them on 2 hands.
There's a couple, and the ones after 2 weeks, you're not going to if it's 2 to 4 weeks, you're not going to get that hung up. It's got to be at least 5-6 months before you get.
P.S. The psycho chicks down here.
Not P.S.
After a couple days, they're like, "Ooh, I'm going to hold on to you. Don't leave me." Blah 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 blah.
No, I'm not.
But I'm going to go sleep with these other people.
Oh, I'm talking up in the real world up there where there's lots of choices. There's lots of choices. Well, I met.
There's not a lot of fish in the sea down here.
Yeah.
No,
I went out with a girl. She told me that we were out doing dinner, and we didn't even make it through the first date because she goes, "My last boyfriend, we met at where'd you meet him?" And she says, "Well, I was at a stop sign." And so we were. I recreated it later at my friend's house with a Frisbee. Recreated the
stop sign meeting.
Yeah. Hey, how are you? Started licking my nose and all that stuff, and she goes, "Oh, wow, you're impressive." And she jumps in his car and they take off. Love at first sight. Lasted 6 months, she said. And I'm like, wow. And they said, "What happened?" We went to jail.
I knew she was going to say, well, he just stopped at another stop sign.
He was a car thief, and he had a drug problem. And I'm like, oh, wow, we're eating it. She's a nice looking girl, too. Really pretty girl. And I'm like, wow.
Why are they going to be so dumb?
Oh, well, no, I realized I had no shot at her. Because I've never been to jail and I don't steal cars.
Like the
and I don't have
bad
a drug
boys.
problem. At that time, I didn't have a drug problem. So I was going to be that, that I've seen a nice guy thing a couple times where you're too nice for certain girls and they're like not interested. And I just didn't even call her up after that. So I'm saying it takes a couple dates to get even you think you could have tried it. So for me, it was like 4 or 5 months before I'd want to call them up. If I've been out with them 4 or 5 months and say, hey, do you want to get back together? That's pretty much it. Or I didn't want to get back together with them. So I never, and holding a grudge, going seeing them again. I was engaged 4 times.
You proposed 4 times?
Yeah, I proposed 4 times.
Same ring?
No. Twice. There was,
Send you some money.
Let me see, what was that?
Andy.
There was obviously I was married in Abby, so 2, and the one in 87 and one in 90. That was the same ring. Because I got the one back, the first one back.
Is it a rule that they have to give it back?
No, they don't. It's actually, it depends. They said there's a whole a legal definition of a gift and things like that. And someone, whether it's a gift or a contract. Do you understand that?
Absolutely. It's a promise of contract.
Yeah, promise. Or is it a gift that you're giving to them as because they accept, engagement ring, it's a gift or a contract. That's either or. But there was a couple, there was the first one, well, both of them I kind of screwed up. The first one was almost mutual. The second one I cheated. And the third one I ended up getting married to. That was the one that was. Well, the second one I would have ended up divorcing him. Any of the first 3 ones. It was easy. It was easy. Sure bet. I would have bet against me.
Well, she's the second one that was the one that cheated, or you cheated?
I was the cheater almost all the time. The first cheater, I was almost always that way. Not in the third one though. I didn't.
Which was the first marriage, the only marriage. Well, right.
Yeah, and so that's pretty good. I'm kind of proud of myself there.
That's a good track record.
I cheated on girlfriends, but never on a wife.
Yeah, I don't. If I'm in a relationship, I don't cheat.
I do. I did. I do. What I mean is, that's what I did. Wow, get in trouble.
Fix that.
Well, I'm older now. You don't do. He's kind of. What do they call that? What's that terminology for an older guy that thinks he's still an aging Lothario? It's just nothing more pathetic than you see those guys.
What did you say?
Gigolo.
Gigolo.
No, gigolo. A gigolo.
That's people that pay you for humping, right? That's like a male prostitute.
Yeah, that's dude, right?
Yeah.
Escort.
Yeah. Same thing.
Escort. Yeah, that's
Proper.
Yeah, you're right.
You can't hear him.
When he just say
microphones on
if
his
you
lap.
call if you call a woman a prostitute, why wouldn't you call a male a prostitute?
Right.
Same thing.
So
Depending on
prostitute
what. It's
versus
an escort.
gigolo.
An escort is you call a woman an escort and a guy a gigolo. I guess if you're going to not call them prostitutes, right?
If you want to be
Or
PC about it,
sex.
But then why was Bruce Gigolo the male gigolo?
that was Deuce.
Deuce?
Sorry.
Bruce.
Not Bruce.
Bruce.
Well, I know Bruce. That possibly was one.
Bruce was the porn.
Bruce.
Yeah,
movie.
why would
We know a Bruce that
why
was
would it have to
possibly
be? There's
one.
no
Andy.
female
Yeah.
gigolo. You're right.
I thought that guy's name was Jeremy.
Jeremy.
Because
Ron Jeremy?
you know
Oh,
what? I
shit.
tell you, you know
Yes,
why?
close
It
enough.
wouldn't sound right saying Deuce Bigelow the Gigolo. They needed a little more space. They had to
I
throw
want to know
another
what your
line in.
porn names are.
Or the what?
What's your porn name?
There's so many.
There's okay. Remember,
I forgot. The
It's
street
the-
you grew up on.
it's your the name of your first pet,
Dusty
and the
Kipling.
street you grew up on.
Dusty
So,
Kipling.
Dusty Kipling, Tyler, and it can't be a number. You can't be like
Well, it's a street number.
no, you can't do the nearest street that has a name.
Oh
Okay,
God, that's
Yeah, so you can't be like like Dusty 154th Street. That's not how this works.
Rover Overseas Highway.
it would be Toupee Eureka.
Toupee Eureka.
That sounds like
Right?
of someone from the Far East. Toupee,
Yeah.
like an
Toupee,
Indonesian
Toupee Eureka.
adult film star.
Right?
Yeah.
Or car
my
sale.
Or a rapper.
Yeah.
Maybe a
Okay,
rapper.
okay, what was yours? What would your
Oh, God.
your name of your first pet?
What's your pet?
Luther.
Luther and the street
Oh.
you grew up on.
Oh, we moved around a lot.
Look at the
Pick
very
it,
first,
one
the
you
very
remember
first
then.
street that you can think
One
of.
one you remember.
Casa Court.
Mikasa, Mikasa.
Mikasa
So
Court,
Luther
yeah.
Mikasa, like Luther, come home, baby,
That sounds like a porn name.
Mikasa. It does, Luther Mikasa.
How are you?
Mine would be Buffy Washburn.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a good
Oh,
one.
that is
Yeah.
a good one.
Yep, I grew
to
up
many
on
stop
4901 Washburn Avenue North, Minneapolis, and my first cat's name was Buffy.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I actually had a cat before that, but I don't remember her. But her name was Morticia. So I think that
What was it?
Morticia
No,
Washburn
the pet we
isn't as
had-
good as Buffy.
Yeah,
was
Luther
our
actually
pet?
bit me and
The
I had to
cat
get the
we
rabies
had.
shot.
Luther
Luther
is
bit you?
not friendly
Yeah,
to
He
Mikasa.
was eating, and I went in to give
My
him a
first
kiss. and-
pet was actually Jakey.
Jakey. Okay, so then what's your real porn name? Jakey.
Jakey and one of the streets. Sea King?
Jakey Sea King.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Sea King.
There you go.
Sound like coming out of the water.
Yeah.
More ways than one. Spurting
So I
out
think
of
we
the
all had some pretty cool porn
Yeah.
names.
Yeah, not bad.
Right.
I had a few
Well,
other-
you know, it's funny that you mention it because Miami is one of the hotbeds for, no pun intended, for porn industry.
But
It is.
Never would have guessed.
Miami is. You see that they got all the online.
It has nothing to do with that. Miami was built by the cocaine cowboys or any of that kind of stuff.
Well, that and probably because of its location.
Yeah, all the
You know,
Quaaludes.
you got all
and
the guys with the
everything
video
else.
Joel.
You got but the young girls coming in and stuff like that. It's just a place for that.
That's okay. That
It's
should be
easier
bad.
to do.
Give her a Quaalude, should be fine tomorrow.
Another Quaalude, she'll let me tomorrow.
L.A. was the first one, and Miami was the second.
Can you make any more money off porn? Because it's all free on the internet.
I know. I think they're just.
Do they have like commercial spots where they pick them up like we do with the podcast? And they're like, "Hey, we're going to pick up your porn, and
don't know.
and here is a commercial for
I
Sensodyne."
think some of the women just use it now. If they put a bunch, they release a bunch of them. They use it for their live appearances, like star of this. That because they're not going to get. I can't imagine how they get paid if there's. How many downloads? It could be a couple million
I mean,
downloads.
just go to
you may get
Pornhub
like
and
200
watch
$200
the free stuff. So
Yeah.
you know,
But is there
not
commercials?
that I would do that.
Is there commercials in the free stuff?
No, you can just go right to Pornhub and then.
I mean, I can't even watch Facebook videos without seeing some stupid commercial.
No,
with
there's no.
damn
now, they
Peyton
do have
Manning
the-
telling me who's going
They
to get
do
a
have the
discount on his
premium.
car
If you
insurance.
want it in
I'm not going to
HD.
join in this conversation at all. I'm going to feign ignorance on the whole thing. I think
there's no.
How is it that you find porn on the internet?
But there's seriously no commercials.
Don't Google mom.
Yeah. What?
Don't Google mama or moms.
Yeah.
Oh my God! And go to images.
Yeah.
It's just the way it.
You know what? This computer is pure. You know why? Because
this computer is not.
This one is pure. This one is pure because
as Andy taps the top of his
virus. I can't have a virus on this one, so I won't do it.
Well, they have.
Got to remember,
they have vaccinations for that.
I was in IT, so I got.
When you had dial-up, oh my God!
My parents would go to bed. I'd sneak into the office and I'd
channel 99.
Turn on the computer.
The computer.
Turn on the computer, and thank God if they did or didn't turn down the speaker volume, you would hear the dial-up go off and it blared through the house. And I was in trouble already because it was 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. And
there were stations where there were scrambled stations where you could just look, and you'd wait to see
buffering.
Like, underneath the bottom of a boob.
Yep.
Or you get a Red Book
Girls
magazine.
Gone Wild would be aired at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, Girls Gone Wild.
Sometimes those channels, they would just stay right there for a good 30 seconds. You're like, oh, nice.
Really?
Yeah, as you're
buffering.
Going through them, it's like, oh, yeah.
30 seconds?
Yeah, or they do a free preview weekend.
AOL.
Logging into...
How long ago was this?
Oh, this was still in Newark, Delaware. This is like 98.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
So I'd log into my...
98? You were 8
AOL.
years old watching
porn? What are you talking
about?
So I'd
dirty
log into
little
the computer
fucker.
and I'd hit an email that popped up and it had the little paperclip showing that there was an image there, and it would take forever and load there's the forehead. Oh, there's the face. Oh, boobies. And it would take forever on dial-up to load one image.
There was when I worked at the software company, there were always people, like you walk by the support staff or the programmers.
You'd see them grab the mouse really quick.
No,
and click off.
They were showing one. There was this pretty girl, and she brought me over. I'm 37, 38 years old. The girl's 23 years old. Like, Jim, check this out. And she comes over, shows a guy's penis coming out of the belly button of the girl. And I'm like, he's got and, obviously there's some alteration going on.
Yeah.
And she's just looking at me. She said, what do you think? And I'm like, what the fuck? This is not exactly what I thought would happen at this company. Not the direction it would be coming, and it scared me at the
direction it'd be coming from. You didn't think it'd come out the belly button?
No, I meant that. I thought the guy,
like Alien.
I thought one of my male coworkers would point out a picture like that, not the hot 23-year-old girl in support. And I was like, it scared me into never looking up any of that stuff at work. I said, oh my God, this is on everyone's on computer. I'm not going to do this here. I'm just thinking, and you always hear these stories about it, and they're always coming out. The guys were, and I'm like, I always like, shit. Ended up getting married when I was the year before. So my life was pretty much sexual.
Your life was pretty much sexual harassment.
Yeah. I mean, when you're a single guy, nowadays it would probably seem, maybe not. No, maybe by the most extreme people. But, yeah, when it got there and I started seeing the pendulum. I said, man, this isn't, for some reason it didn't seem right when I got married. But these guys, I think what happened is a lot of the guys I worked with got married when they were in their 20s. And they were like, and they were saying, oh, Jimmy, yeah. It was like, oh, yeah, I dated a girl like that a couple years ago. That girl. And they go, really? And I said, yeah, well, I had a 7-year-old kid. I was raised. And I said, well, I was running around with girls like that. And there you can see, that's definitely when they're talking about the guys that had the midlife crisis.
Well, have you ever instructed anybody to go to penisland.com before?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, we did that too.
Penis Land.
Yes. It took Andy a minute, but we did that. We did that to one of the girls at work.
What shows up? Like Just guys?
You know, I don't. I'm not really sure. I'm guessing it's just penises. But we said, why don't you go to PennIsland.com when we were like, and it was totally perfect timing. Like she was looking at reordering some of the office supplies, and we were like, we need pens. Like we need pens. Like,
there's a comedian that says he goes through the search history, and on his son uses his computer, and the search history was Harry Panini. And it was in his search history, Harry Panini. And his son was 13 years old. And he says he just wanted to get a picture and see what a hairy penis looked like. And the father went to him. He goes and says it, and the kids, I wasn't looking for that. And he goes, yeah, you were. You weren't looking for a hairy panini. And he goes, you're going to find pedophiles. That's what you're going to find if you start searching for that.
Well, so we ended up setting up this poor girl at work that pulled up PennIsland.com.
I was just going to bring that up too.
Yeah, and then we while she was still on the website and just like absolutely like mouth agape and couldn't believe what she was looking at, we pretended like the IT manager from our main location called and wanted to know why she was searching porn on the internet while she was at work, and she was like, "It wasn't me. I didn't know." But of course, she had actually typed in penisland.com. And of course, the IT guy never called, but we had her convinced. We really did. It was pretty awesome. Yeah.
We're going to take a break right now. Pee break.
And
we can talk about inappropriate stuff at work.
Yes. Again. The not safe for work.
Yes.
I got a good story when I was in IT.
Okay, hold on then. Let's get it.
So, yeah.
We're going to be right back. We're going to be right back.
If you want to get your information about the Florida Keys straight from the locals who live here and the ones who love it here, we've got you covered. Visit 43keys.com as your source for everything Florida Keys. Sign up for our newsletter and you'll always be up to date on all the Keysy stuff that's going on down here. Go to 43keys.com. That's the number 4, the number 3, keys.com, and sign up today.
And we're right back. Oh, you thought I was kidding. Andy, what's your story?
So I was in IT. I was working with Amtrak, and I had about 600 computers around the U.S., and you could remote into them.
What year was this?
This was 2000, let's say 8 or 9.
Oh, shit. That thing was fast then.
Yeah, well, not at Amtrak. But so I noticed this. I was doing some work, and I noticed a computer up in Boston. The bandwidth just spiked. And these computers, they're called thin clients. They're only to be used to log in or out for timesheets.
Okay.
So a conductor or an engineer would clock in at DC, go up to Boston, clock out. That's how it would work. It was time management, and that's how they got paid. Anyway, this dude, he somehow backdoors or something.
Oh, no pun intended.
Yeah, really. He's on the internet looking at porn, and I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? So I call my boss over. He calls the other boss. So I have 4 guys behind me watching my monitor. Watch this guy watching porn. So you can.
You can see what.
Yeah, So
exactly what he was watching.
So we isolated who was there. We called Boston. Boston's like, yeah, he's on this. And we're like, okay, we're gonna catch him. So there's a little pop-up thing, and I can send a message. And my message was, get off the computer now. So I had a screenshot every 20 seconds what's going on. So I started screenshotting that. So as he's logging off, we can see his credentials, and I got his name, and I screenshot that, and then screenshot a couple other things, and sent it up. The guy got fired within a week, even though he was union. He broke.
Why'd you make him get off the computer then?
Because he was using all my bandwidth. And then I had to go up to
just
Boston.
Finish. The message would have been, finish what you're doing. Grab the Kleenex and finish what you're doing now.
I had the boss's boss behind me.
Fired him.
I had to go up to Boston and switch out that damn thin client.
Did you get a new keyboard?
Oh, yeah. Well,
you got to get a new keyboard.
We wiped it down. Well, it was a kiosk, and it was inside the kiosk.
Did you put a black light on it? Splotches all over the place.
When I got,
Amtrak didn't necessarily have the most sanitary stuff.
Exactly. When I got to the station, they're like, "Yeah, you really fucked up, didn't you?" I'm like, "Yeah," and so I get out and I'm like wiping down the machine.
Was the guy still there when you got there?
No, he was long gone by then.
Oh yeah,
I suspended him with it that day, and then he was fired within a week.
Wow.
Yeah, the union's like, they got pictures, man. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, well, no, I'm not arguing whether.
Yeah,
I'm saying the timing of it. I go, enjoy. I would be like,
you're getting fired. Enjoy the last couple minutes you got.
Get a really good one going now.
Yeah,
I hope you have some Jergens lotion.
Do something like that. That was wild.
Yeah,
that was wild.
Well, guy rubbed one out in the bathroom and stuff like that.
No, it wasn't in the bathroom. It was in the break room, and there's like people eating. And all that. There were 6 kiosks along the wall in their break room, and they have recliners, and so an engineer would drive the train 6-8 hours, whatever the rule, and they had a rest for that same amount of time.
The guy was an engineer?
No, he was a local guy. I don't know why he was in there, but somehow he went through around our security system, got onto the internet.
Shouldn't have been able to do that, right?
Yeah, I still don't to this day could figure out how he
just for clocking in and out, so it wasn't.
Yeah, and then it was it. It connected to the internet because we had to transmit the data, but. Yeah, man, that was a wild day. That was a wild day.
His train entered the tunnel, but never completed his destination. Man, that's a shame.
Yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned it, and you were talking about Penn Island and all that stuff. It plays a role. On Seinfeld, they had one of the dentists that George went to, and Jerry, the guy brought in Hustler and Penthouse into his.
The waiting room?
And I was sitting today and the other day at the place I work, and I thought how interesting it would be to bring in inappropriate. When I say inappropriate, I don't mean no. There's a lot of sick. There's a lot of gross magazines out there, but there's a lot of inappropriate meaning for the wrong setting. Like at the hospital, in certain places, gerontologists, older people and stuff like that. You could put like WWE shit in there, boys' life stuff, or just bringing those magazines in. Bringing in a bunch of more magazines in, Ranger magazines or Teen Beat magazine. Do they still have Teen Beat? You know that?
Really?
Yeah. I think they do.
It's been a while, huh?
I remember years ago, you go into these drugstores and you just look for these magazines. There's usually one with your something you like. I used to like I love Popular Mechanics and Popular Science. I love that shit. But I thought if I can get like a bunch of Teen Beat, like if I ever go to I can still do this. I don't know if I get in trouble for it, but I'll cut out the corners of the address and get Teen Beat magazine and take it to a place and say, drop it off in the waiting room, and people go, is this your kids? I said, I don't have any kids. It'd be fucking great. No?
My favorite magazine was Carcraft.
What?
Carcraft was like one of my favorite magazines.
Oh, that's Popular Mechanics.
Yeah.
The same shit and stuff like that. Popular Mechanics. There was Psychology. When it got older, Psychology Today was great. I was saying, something about, are you a chronic masturbator or stuff like that happened?
Do you have clinical psychosis?
Yeah. They had all that shit. And when you're younger, if you think about it, magazines before the internet, it was Cosmo and Redbook. Before you were, that's where you were, if you're a consumer of porn, you wanted to see boobies or women in bras. It was the Sears
my mom
catalog.
always wondered where her Victoria's Secret magazines were
Victoria's
going.
Secret.
Okay.
Oh my God! Victoria's Secret wasn't until I was in high school.
But remember Step Brothers when they realized, are we going to be best friends? Yeah. And they were like, what's your favorite non-pornographic magazine to jerk off to? Good Housekeeping.
Good Housekeeping was the worst. There was nothing in Good Housekeeping.
Oh, Good Housekeeping.
Glamour.
Jim doesn't know this firsthand.
Glamour. I know firsthand. Glamour magazine, Red Book, and then Cosmo. In that order. And then when, obviously, they didn't have Maxim then and stuff like Maxim the soft.
I was trying to think of the other one, too.
Maxim's the soft Playboy.
Yeah.
And then you have,
with
from
great
Playboy,
articles.
you have Penthouse. And from Penthouse, you have Hustler.
Oh, so many people said that Playboy, you would always read Playboy for the articles, and that's because you could
The Playboy was actually...
The articles?
The articles and the jokes were fun.
Yeah,
the cartoons were good.
That's when they gave him the little bio of all the centerfolds. What's your favorite
Wait, not
color?
just that. They interviewed real famous people. And they had real short stories in it.
Yeah.
Stephen King wrote for Playboy. I think he had a couple. They're real.
Did the dead animals in a pet cemetery?
No, but
No.
Playboy was a magazine. Playboy was a magazine with
It wasn't
pictures
Hustler.
of women, but it was a magazine. There were real writers that worked for Playboy.
So many people.
And it was a thick magazine. It wasn't,
It was
12
thick,
pictures.
yeah.
12 pages of just
It is funny.
nude ladies.
You'd only until you got to college.
It wasn't just.
It was only.
It wasn't just
It was only when you got to college that you realized Playboy had really good journalism in there.
Yeah, you
Playboy,
didn't care when you were in middle school, high school.
If you got a hold of it, I found a Penthouse on the side of the road when I was in Philadelphia when I was
where the pages
13, 14. Well, there were rain on, so they were kind of thing. But I cut out the pictures, the after one girl was kind of doing the widespread. I'm serious because this was a thing you had to do when you found this, you didn't want to lose it. So I had to.
That's true.
You didn't know, really. So what I did is I took all my books and I rewrapped them in shopping bags because I tore the covers of the books, the book covers, and so I had to wrap them with that. And I stuck the nude pictures inside the folded up.
Smart.
So, when you returned your books the next year, you were just hoping,
No. I'm talking about the books I had at home.
Oh.
Like I had
hide
the
the
origins,
pictures
the origins of the
articles.
superhero, the origins of superheroes, which was a big book, and it had all the early first releases of the DC comics, and in there I had 20 pictures of cut out from that.
You mean articles?
Penthouse. No pictures. I never read the or unless it was Penthouse Forum, and they had the Penthouse Forum. Guys, young. If you want to find out about porn, you ask about the pictures. You ask a 13 to a 17-year-old boy. If you want to find out about the quality of the magazine, you got to ask someone who's somewhat literate from 19 to 23.
So, as Jenna had commented about the sticky pages.
Well, you never.
Pages.
So,
Yeah.
And this comes to your age group. So when I was in college, I had a guy that I hung out with. We would play poker with me and all my buddies and everything like that. And his uncle or whatever had passed away and left the house. So, this thing was full. And I have a very minimal case of hoarding. And we were going through this. I got some hemp bags that...
I remember when you threw those out after the hurricane.
What?
The hemp bags. They got ruined in the hurricane.
No, I gave them to Wayno.
Oh, did you?
Remember? So I held on to these hemp bags. But there were some old, I would say, 60s Playboy magazines.
Oh, man.
Now, I do
They
not
were
know,
bushy.
but I might still have them.
You are a hoarder.
Might still have them.
You might make some money off those. If they're
Those women-
Well,
That's
they
going
were
to be
in
back in the day.
Those women were
They were
There's gonna
in
be
a
bush in
house
those.
that, the roof was falling in and all this kind of stuff. So, but I have a recollection of where they might be.
I was such a connoisseur from the 15.
I may or may not be able to get to them in about 5 minutes.
15 to 22. When you live in a fraternity house, there was at any one time 200 good porno mags inside the fraternity house, and there was one edition in the 1980s. It was 1980. It was like 19. From the first year was 1950 something, and it was a 25th anniversary one, and it was then and now, and they had some of the pinups from 25 years earlier. And then I said, oh, man, they're so old. Now, if I saw them now,
Tyler's going to find
I would say, holy
collection
shit,
of
that's great.
vintage Bush. Dude, let's go
Is he
all be
looking for
Bush.
Do you know he
picture's
had
gonna
born
stick.
in the house?
I'm sure.
It's going to be, the pages are going to be really stuck
Those
together.
are really going to be.
It's going to be.
That's
the
years
humidity.
and years of
It's like
the humidity.
It's like did you pour crazy glue on those suckers? It's going to be like
That's back
trying
when
to.
people had hair in all their places and it was acceptable.
What was those ones? The Dead Sea Scrolls.
Yeah,
They're going to be
that's
the Dead Sea Scrolls are going to be easier to read than these things. Yeah, they're going to be unrolling them.
The
The
New
first,
Testament was written off of.
yeah. The pictures roll up. You're going to just see. Wait a second,
From the
isn't
book
that?
of Matthew. Mark,
Isn't
Luke,
that
and
a
John.
marshy inland? Oh my God! I think he has one. Oh, we got to get a picture. I'm going to take a picture of that.
So they're not stuck together for any actual reason.
Oh, that's not from the 1960s. I can tell from the back of it.
Oh my God, they're crispy.
They've been
He's trying to open. He's trying to. Oh, they're sticky. They're sticky.
It's been humidity.
Okay.
Andy said he's going to blame it. Andy's going to blame it on the
Jenna
humidity.
Kelly. Oh, you sent me a picture too.
They're fucked.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Oh wait, let me see the one on the back.
Oh, you know what you could do
me
is
see
you
on
could
the back.
probably steam them.
Can I see that one in the back?
You already steamed them.
Well, this one says Playboy on it, so that's actually an old Playboy. But
Yeah, that looks like.
but you might have to steam them so that you don't rip them apart trying to open them.
Is there any nipple showing?
I don't see any nipples on the
Wow,
back.
wait, this
page.
is 80s.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, but that's still like
Oh, that is good.
old.
4 years.
Sweet.
He's like,
Oh shit.
So
God,
my
man.
hiding spot because my parents never
See, they shaved. You got a little landing strip there.
from college.
You want to, Jay? You're going to hold that up for me, right? Here, no, but look at the one inside. Open it up a little. And that was prime.
What is my mom doing in there?
Andy's
Oh,
mom.
Andy.
Mother, you little whore.
And Jim wants to get a picture so he can put up like.
See if there's like actual.
No, I can't see one. I don't want to do one with nudity.
No, and I don't think there's any with.
No, there
nipples.
is one. Yeah, there's one with
There's
a little landing strip.
careful! That
She
one's
looks
gonna
good.
like.
That actually was attractive. Yeah, you know why? I'm looking at it and said, that girl's still... Wait, why is my light on in this?
We have Lindsay Blaine,
Should we look her up?
Oh my goodness!
Shannon, Mary,
Oh,
Catherine.
yeah, stop tearing it. You're gonna have to steam them
Let's see the
open.
back of that.
What's her name? Lindsay.
Oh, yeah,
Blaine?
there's one.
Here we go.
There's a nip. There's one nip on
Is
the
there no
back.
nip? Okay, wait.
He's been in like
Oh, come on. It won't take a picture.
God,
I'm using my nail.
2006.
Those have been in there for a while.
Oh, that's a good one. Oh, that's a nice one.
No.
That's a good pair.
Supplement to Playboy was Playboy's Wild College Girls. That's the
Oh, that was it?
picture of.
Is any of the pages open up?
I think that it's pretty like stuck. He's almost gonna have to
Oh,
use
wow.
like a steamer.
They've
That it-
been
I think you need to steam it.
Piper Alicia.
Yeah, you're gonna have to steam that. That's pretty messed up.
That is...
But you know, there's one on the very back page that has her lady parts sticking out, like her downward lady parts. But
Oh yeah, that one.
yeah, but they need to probably be steamed. You know what you could do is just put them in the bathroom and put the shower on, like super hot, and then I'm guessing that the steam would probably.
There's a date on it. No.
Unless there's somebody out there that knows how to properly
Well, we need-
resurrect dried up
need
crusty
someone
porn.
that did, maybe someone that works in in the ancient books department of
Yes.
Harvard
Yeah,
Library.
Like, how do you actually open up vintage
Yep.
porn
Oh.
without tearing it?
You don't.
Hey, you know.
Hey, you tried.
Oh man,
Good stuff.
did I even get a picture of that?
Well, you took 2 pictures of it. Hopefully,
It
worked.
didn't even show.
Oh, really? Was it just too bright with the flash?
No, I mean I
Here's,
didn't even
like,
take a picture.
Girly parts. There's one with girly parts.
Here, no, I don't want the girly parts.
I want the here.
Here. Why isn't it taking up?
I feel like I'm violating the back of this thing because her girly parts are sticking out.
So many years ago.
Okay.
I'm sure they went on to very respectful, healthy careers.
She is now,
She is now married to the senator from North Dakota.
After the
I
parade.
was going to say that she's now the CFO of a nonprofit that helps.
No, I don't think so.
Children that are looking for breast milk. Something.
Oh, there. Oh, my pictures are. Wait, where the fuck are they? I don't know.
He's struggling
man.
with
What the
technology.
fuck is-
Technology.
Yes.
I'm struggling again.
He is.
Teaching my mom how to
Camera.
copy and paste.
His wife is in there.
Oh, goodness.
None of my pictures are saving.
Yeah,
Why is it
space.
possible?
All right. I'll get a picture for you, Jim, and I'll send it to you.
Yes.
Why did we just taint your phone?
See, some taint going on, but it tain't working right now. That's a shame.
Is
That's
your
a
memory
beautiful. Nope.
Oh.
I don't know what that is about. I took pictures today too, and
This one's perfect. This is
None of
Jim's
'em.
face in the background. This is awesome. Jim, you have to post this one. I'm sending you this picture right now, but this is me holding up the back of the magazine, and your face is in the background, and it's so perfect.
Rose. I wonder what she
And-
ended up being.
I mean, it looks to me like she's trying to dig some lint out of her belly button. That's what I would guess. Right?
No, she's unzipping.
She's digging lint out of her belly button.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
yeah, send that one to me. Damn you!
It's sent to you with your face in the background.
It was a good picture.
There you go. I hear it.
See, I can
It's
download
coming
it to
through.
my phone, but that's pretty much it. Well, this is great with the. So that was
2006 is when I got them.
okay.
But they were in an abandoned house for probably 3 years, and yeah.
Who knows who came by then?
Right.
No,
What do you have to
it was,
really- Yeah.
it was like Beyonce
There's some extra
Case.
protein inside that the pages.
for.
There's a lot of
his
wisdom
uncle
and
or
syrup
whatever
in
passed
between
away.
his
So the house
pages.
sat there with the roof falling
Yeah.
in and
A
all
lot of
kinds of
imagination.
A lot of imagination. That was the
Turned on.
college supplement. Wow. Uh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Those girls got.
I mean, it wasn't readily available back in 06. No, 08, 09.
They used to arrive when you went to the house. It's funny. Whenever you had a magazine come and there was a brown paper on it, it was pretty much a dirty magazine because every other magazine would just come in the way it comes in. And if you go to the 7-Eleven or something like that, they
They
had
were
all
always-
that. They
they
still
had
have
the
them.
black.
They still have them today, don't they?
Yep. Some station.
Circle
or
K
some-
and
yeah.
stuff like
They
that.
don't
at the
have
bottom.
Playboy anymore, but
Oh, it's
yeah, I'm
Hustler and.
sure. I don't.
I mean, who buys?
Who buys magazines anymore? Except me when my niece sits.
I mean,
up
just
for
the printing
school
and delivery of it has to
one.
be. But then you have to go up and ask it and go. Hey, a minute to. Hey, I'm going to pay $7 for that magazine.
Can I get the magazine and the razors that are locked behind the cabinet as well?
Yeah. Give me some of the blunt, some of the cigar paper, cigar roll blunt. So, wow, that's great. Tyler, that's where hoarding actually comes into play. That's great. I've seen the 1960 ones, and
I remember the 70s ones, but
yeah,
I was
and they show every show, and they show pictures of you can go back and look at.
Oh, yeah,
those.
yeah.
Marilyn Monroe was in.
yeah.
Marilyn Monroe.
Did she actually show all of her lady parts?
Well, they didn't really show that in the 60s. They were kind of
They crossed the legs a
you
little
see
bit.
the top. You didn't never saw, and even in Playboy, not until the 80s did they start seeing.
Like coochie pictures?
the VJ.
Well, up in there,
No.
and Penthouse showed it. Hustler
Didn't
boom,
care.
spread.
Ah.
Yeah. And it's with this story, and I think I may have told this before in Father Carl's class at Archbishop Bryan. This guy, that wasn't Tommy Morrow. some guy. He got a hold of his briefcase and he put a picture, and it was a 70-year-old lady, right? Spread eagle, and the caption said, "Still pink after all these years." And he opened up this briefcase, flipped out. Father Carl flipped out and chased Tommy Morrow. He threw one of his dust brushes, those heavy wooden ones.
Yeah.
He threw it, and it just missed my ear. It just whizzed by my ear when he threw it at him. It wasn't Tommy Morrow. No, I forgot the little guy. The little guy was a little fat guy that would run the all the football pools and stuff like that. And he'd always, like, during theological discussion, he goes, "But Father, I got this story from the National Enquirer about angels." And he'd bring it, he'd do this shit. But he did it still pink after. I don't know. It may not even been him. I just remember the guy that did it. I go, "How the fuck did you find that picture?" And he put it in there, and I go, like that. Wow.
That's
it was
ballsy.
like sneaking contraband into a prison. He had it there, and I think he got shit for it because they opened up his locker. There was no constitutional right in a Catholic school. They went right to his locker and opened up, and they found all his bedding sheets and stuff like that. It was a great idea. It was a great idea at the time, but he didn't think all the way through.
Right.
He didn't think all the way through when he chased him.
Yeah, you got to have a secondary locker.
Yeah, because he was the one. He's the one. See, we opened up the briefcase, and only one guy knew what was in there. And that guy started laughing. And we saw him go red. The rest of the class thought he was having a heart attack.
So Google is a wonderful thing.
What?
The one name that I was able to find and get some history on said Wickersham and Taft partner bought one-time Playboy model Lace Rose Anellis, 32, a $215,000 diamond engagement ring while refusing to pay for his daughter's $12,000 hearing aid. Anellis was a 19-year-old Florida co-ed when she posed nude for Playboy in 2004. So they're not that old.
Shit. I probably met her down here. Fuck. Florida
you might have dated her for 2 weeks.
I met a bunch of girls.
Before her engagement
45.
to Shatner, she dated actor Matt Dillon for 2 years.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't meet her. The Penthouse bus came down here one time and stopped at the Caribbean Club. Met a couple girls from there, and they weren't.
Nah, that's her B squad.
Yeah, on the bus.
Yeah.
Okay, well, enough porn.
The B squad.
Enough porn out there. Guys, if you're listening, here we go. Hey, they just released those episodes that we made a couple weeks ago, too.
Oh,
that just went out today.
Mom will be happy.
Yeah.
She's been whining.
Yeah. And we got 2 more, so we got 3 more this week. I don't know if you want to hear from Dr. Joel and Dr. Jack and I.
Oh, she still likes to listen.
Oh, really? Okay, well, that's nice. That's nice.
She'll get a crack out of this episode, too.
She will. She'll probably be like, oh.
Once again, cannot.
She was the hot mom in the bathtub back in the day.
You can't have your sister, right?
Yeah, Gloria.
To this at all?
I wonder if any of her.
My sister.
I wonder if any of her
you?
hot mom in the bathtub
very
pictures. I forgot.
Oh, she is?
Yeah, so we don't. Yeah.
You know what? One time we'll do one episode and we'll do
PG-13.
We'll do a PG-13 one, and we'll watch that whole episode and do that whole thing. We'll just have to put the hot button issues, what we don't want to talk about and stuff like that. I mean, we don't want to any jokes about religion or anything like that. And then the next show we'll save all the filth for the next show.
Okay.
Yep.
That sounds good.
Like you saved your magazines. I'd like to thank Tyler for bringing out the memorabilia from
So she's
from
a lawyer?
2004.
No, she married a lawyer.
She married a lawyer. Okay.
Well,
Thanks, Tyler, for bringing. Thank you, Jenna, for having a husband that would save something like that. And Adam, thank you for recognizing
That's my
that you met
husband.
that girl on a Tinder date.
Which one?
Wait, does the sister not need to hear about this either?
I don't know.
She won't hear about it.
So,
Wait, does she know how to listen to the podcast?
no, I haven't told her about the podcast.
Oh, good. Don't tell her.
This will probably be
Just say, you know what you're going to do? All you have to do is send her the episode that we do.
Don't listen
with
to
the
this
PG-13 one. Yeah.
Yeah, and just
then,
don't send her a look how to get the
This
other
is
one.
the only time I'm on, so here you go.
Here you go. That's it.
yeah, right. And just be like, I'm not really as famous as I claim
My
to be.
mom's born again.
Wink, wink.
But then she doesn't know. She doesn't know how to get on. She has no idea.
Oh,
Podcast. What is it made? Is it written on a broken leg? Is it a
are they
cast?
live?
What?
Are they live? Can I call them?
How
What
does this
radio
work?
do I get it on? Is it on television? Yeah.
AM or FM?
Yeah. Don't.
I will tell you that my 71, almost 72-year-old mother in just a few weeks is real good at finding us live. If we go live, she's like, what the fuck are you doing?
How did she? Oh, that's.
She blows my phone up.
Oh, she can explain that to if we can get her on
I
one time
know.
and
Then-
explain to everyone how to do it, and then this way
It would
we'll
be
get
like
more listeners live.
Jerry
but with live, it
Atrick
doesn't.
technical advice.
Yeah, live
By Gloria.
Okay, well, we're 50 minutes in. We're good. We're good. Let's sign off.
We are good.
Say goodbye, Adam.
Say goodbye, Adam.
Goodbye,
Who's
Adam.
Tyler.
Even though it's Andy.
Andy. One A
Goodbye,
to 12.
Adam.
Goodbye.
Why'd you say bye, Adam?
See you again.
Shit, I'm not even drinking. I can't.
Adam's in the chair next to us, guys.
Adam owned those magazines at one time. He's the one that got them all stuck together.
You know what? He's just going back to the Dead Sea Scrolls. You know, Adam's in one of those
Adam's
books.
in there.
Yeah.
Thank
Good night,
you, Jenna
everybody.
and Tyler, for having us.
Good night.
Thanks, guys.
See you later.